You're not part of this family, so get out. My mother-in-law said that, trying to kick me out. Is that so? Thank you so much. I smiled in agreement and decided to leave right away. Help me out. I can't live without you. These words would be really nice in a different situation, but right now, they don't mean a thing. We're strangers now. Never be involved in my life again. My name is Karen. I'm a 35-year-old office worker. I've been married to my husband Harrison for 3 years. We had a reasonably happy marriage, but things haven't been great lately. The reason is that Harrison recently switched jobs, and his salary took a big hit. I think it's the company's fault I can't get ahead. One day he started complaining like that. Sure, sometimes companies don't value their workers fairly, but I couldn't help wondering if some of that fault lay with him. Trying not to hurt his pride, I suggested that he could still get a raise or promotion if he worked hard at his current job, which paid decently. But in the end, he quit. During his job search, no company offered him a salary higher than his previous one. Damn it! Why can't anyone see my worth? Everyone's just blind! He would often grumble like this while drinking. As his drinking increased daily, I suggested that he try working in a field he was interested in, even for a lower salary. I really just wanted him to get a job quickly, but I didn't want him to give up working altogether, so I phrased it that way. Then he said, You're absolutely right. I should find a job that I actually enjoy, right? He became more positive and started looking for work. And after a while, he found a job. I got hired! Really? Which company? It's a clothing store called XX. Oh, a clothing store? Yeah, I've always been interested in fashion. Oh, I see. But you're a full-time employee, right? Nope, just part-time. But I might become full-time if I work hard. I see. I never expected him to switch careers like this. I had assumed he'd be hired as a full-time employee in a field he was interested in. But now his salary was about a third of what he made before. So our financial situation got tough. I decided to start a side job to increase our income. I tried various online side jobs and continued with the ones that suited me. At first, I only made a few tens of dollars, but gradually my side income grew to a few $100s. Meanwhile, Harrison acted like everything was fine, saying, I'm working, so no problem. Actually, his attitude seemed even more arrogant than before. He never did any housework, claiming he was bad at it, and now he wasn't doing any but started ordering me around. Hey, we're out of beer. Bring me another one quick. I'm tired from work, you know. But we were both tired from work. Actually, I worked longer hours. He only worked 4 days a week at his part-time job. I even work overtime. Yet, he acted like he was more important because he worked weekends. But that's normal in retail where weekends are busier. Harrison even started buying lots of clothes from his store, saying, It's a necessary expense and sales staff are like walking mannequins. I get a staff discount and you'll be happy to see me looking stylish, right? I wished he would contribute more to our expenses instead of spending over half his salary on clothes. He only contributed enough for our electricity and water bills. I was covering the rent, groceries, and other living expenses with my salary. How did things turn out this way? I began to think our marriage was a mistake. We met at a mixer and I thought he was a handsome, nice guy working for a well-known company. But now, years into our marriage, he's just a part-timer. If I had known this would happen, I wouldn't have married him. But nobody can see the future. It was like an accident that nobody could have predicted, so I try to convince myself of that. But as I continued to feel disillusioned with my husband, I faced another difficult person, my mother-in-law, Maria. She doted on her only son, my husband, who, in her eyes, was still a corporate employee and a cute, brilliant son. Harrison had asked me to keep his job change a secret from her to avoid worrying her. So I kept quiet, but this led to her scolding me unnecessarily. "Look at you. You really look like you bring bad luck. My successful son is unlucky to marry someone like you. Don't bring your bad luck aura around him. He's gonna keep climbing up in his career." She talked about a future that didn't exist. Harrison had never climbed up the career ladder. I mean, he had quit his job to become a part-timer. I so wanted to tell her that, but I couldn't because of his request. When I glanced at him, he looked awkward, knowing he could clear things up. But he seemed to hold back due to a misguided sense of justice, not wanting to upset anyone. So I just had to endure Maria's mistreatment with a bitter smile. "Man, I'm sorry my mom says all that stuff." After we'd visit his family and she'd harass me, he would say that, half laughing. I wished he would stand up for me, but he never did. I started feeling less and less love for him. Then, just as these feelings grew, I found out I was pregnant. It was a joy to have a child, but it only seemed to add to our difficulties. But I also thought this might be the chance for him to change. "You're pregnant?" "Yeah, 3 months. "That's gnarly." "Gnarly?" "I'm gonna be a dad. Now I've got to become even cooler." He probably meant becoming more fashionable. But I wished he'd focus on earning more and becoming a reliable person. And what's with gnarly? Since working in apparel, he'd started talking like a young person. It's embarrassing for a man his age to talk like that. But worse was realizing I couldn't rely on him, even with a child on the way. Should I continue this marriage? That's what I started to think. Then something happened that made me decide to divorce. One day, my husband said he needed to talk. "What's this talk about?" "Well, the thing is, my parents' house is so old it started to leak." "Oh no." "Yeah, it needs some major repair work, and during that time, they want to temporarily live here." "Wait, you mean your mom and dad?" "Who else? Given the situation, it can't be helped, right?" "What do you mean it can't be helped?" He acted like it was only natural for his parents to come stay with us, but that was outrageous. I didn't want that. "So that means we'd be living together?" "Yeah, that's right." "You know how your mom treats me, right? And still you're suggesting we live together?" "What can I do? Besides, Mom isn't really that harsh. She just has a sharp tongue." "Yeah, her sharp tongue is exactly why she's so difficult to live with." I was completely frustrated with my husband's clueless remarks. Then, suddenly, the doorbell rang. Who could it be at this time? To my surprise, it was my in-laws with big bags in tow. "Oh, hi, Maria Sean. What are you doing here?" "We're moving in. Didn't you hear? Are you stupid or something?" "No, I just heard about this and I never agreed to it." "Why do we need your agreement? Don't waste time and help with the luggage." So they just walked in, dropping their bags and heading to the living room. I glared at my husband. Sorry, I forgot to tell you they were coming today. Let's just help them with the luggage." What on earth is going on? I felt like screaming. When I went to the living room, Maria demanded coffee and cookies, as if it was the most natural thing. "Hurry up and serve us. You're so slow." But I couldn't stay silent. You didn't come here as guests. If you want coffee and cookies, get them yourselves. What's with that attitude? She was furious at my words. Karen, what are you doing? Don't upset my mom. I'm not a housemaid here. If you're gonna stay here, you do your own thing. I stood firm with my response. Maria, red-faced, came at me. You are the daughter-in-law. It's normal for the daughter-in-law to have the lowest position in the house and to work hard for the family. That kind of normal is abnormal. It must be some crazy rule from wherever you grew up or some weird twisted belief in your head. How dare you? She was livid. Harrison was flustered, not knowing what to do. Sean seemed uninterested, just grabbing a drink from the fridge. His indifference was infuriating in a different way. Let's all just calm down, shall we? My husband tried to pacify the situation and took me to the bedroom. What's gotten into you, Karen? This isn't like you. What? Whether it's like me or not doesn't matter. It's your fault for bringing your parents here without asking. But you don't need to be so angry. Enough! I absolutely cannot live with them. Karen. While we were talking, Maria barged into the bedroom. Are you still yapping about us, you piece of shit? Mom! You cannot just barge in here like that. Quiet! I came to my son's house. I can use it as I see fit. I'll say it clearly. You are not part of this family, so get out. My mother-in-law tried to drive me out. Mom! He tried to intervene, but I spoke first. Is that so? Thank you. I accepted with a smile and decided to leave immediately. What? She was taken aback. I went to my room to pack my things. My husband rushed after me. Wait, are you seriously leaving? Damn right I am. I'm not wanted here. No, it's not like that. Harrison, sweetie, just let her go. She's just being prideful. But young lady, once you leave, you can't come back. I hope you know that. She gloated. Oh, please don't worry. I won't come back. I'll divorce Harrison too. You what? Good, Harrison. She's leaving you. Now you can find a younger wife. Yeah. He seemed to want to impress his mother even now. I'll expect child support for the baby. I'll pay that. Just don't rely on my son when things get tough. Don't worry, I won't. And don't you come crying to me either. Ha! Such sour grapes. Maria mocked me. But time will tell who really struggles. I left the house, passing my husband, who stood pale and frozen. I got the divorce papers and returned to my parents' house. They were shocked to see me just pop up unannounced, but furious when they heard the story. You can stay here and rest even after the baby's born. And divorce that jerk quickly, my dad said. So I filled out the divorce papers and went with my parents to Harrison's place. He brightened up for a moment, thinking I had returned, but then saw my parents and got scared. From then on, my dad did the talking. Sign this divorce paper. No need for property division, but you must pay child support. That's our demand. Harrison reacted to the no property division part, but was cut off as Maria stepped forward. Of course! Harrison, hurry up and sign it! Okay, while he's doing that, let's move the rest of your stuff to the car. My parents and I moved my belongings to the car. When we went back to Harrison, he had already signed the divorce papers. He handed them to me, his face pale. Maria still had a triumphant look, and Sean was indifferent, just watching TV in the living room. What a pathetic family, I thought as I left with my parents. I submitted the divorce papers at the city hall, finalizing the divorce. Later, I went on maternity leave and prepared for the birth at my parents' house. When the day came, I went to the hospital. Finally, I met my baby, a beautiful little girl. Holding my daughter, I felt an indescribable happiness and vowed to protect her all my life. My parents were also delighted holding her. Then, unexpectedly, my ex-husband called. I hadn't blocked his number because of the child support and a bit of curiosity about their situation. Hello? Hey, Karen? What do you want? Well, help me. What? You've got the wrong person. I told you not to rely on me when we divorced. I can't live without you. These words would be really nice in a different situation, but right now, they don't mean a thing. It's too late for that. I'm hanging up. Wait! Things are really bad right now. He then went on and on to explain their situation, which I hadn't even asked about. His parents' house had severe leaks, and the repair costs were higher than expected. They were planning to sell the house cheaply and move into his place. They planned to use me as a maid and kick me out if I got too uppity. Maria still believed her precious son was a successful businessman, so she thought it would be no problem even if the house sold for almost nothing. But in reality, he was a low-income part-timer, and I had been the one supporting the household. His meager income, which he usually spent on buying clothes, wasn't enough to cover the living expenses and rent for 3 adults. We can't even afford food, and utilities might get cut off. What about your parents' pensions? They're really small, and my dad blew through his retirement fund on trips and luxury goods. That's unfortunate, but it's their own doing. We were once in love, right, Karen? Help me. Stop it. It's creepy. We're strangers now. Don't involve me again. Oh, but I will demand child support. I can't. I don't give a shit. I'll have your wages garnished. Be prepared. Bye. I hung up and blocked his number. I didn't need to talk to him directly anymore. My lawyer could handle it. As for what happened to them afterward, I heard Harrison abandoned his parents and disappeared, probably thinking he could manage alone with his small income. I received the child support regularly, so I don't care about the rest. His parents, abandoned by their son, were evicted and now live in a rundown apartment surviving on their pensions. I once saw Maria in a discount supermarket, desperately searching for half-priced items. Her hollow cheeks and worn-out clothes were a stark reminder of the importance of planning for retirement. I'm focusing on raising my daughter and saving for our future.